channel. I'm gonna share this. Okay, so I sent this information that this is the channel, the new channel. It's not like a new channel. It's actually my channel where I'm sharing the videos because there was a mistake in one account, and actually they erased my email, and that's very sad. Uh, yeah, here it is, the channel. Here we have the channel actually, but I don't know why I cannot log in here. So we're gonna try to. I was actually. It was a mistake. Like it was a mistake. Let's try because they accidentally, I guess, they erased my channel or something like that. Okay, okay, but here is the channel. Okay, so let's continue. We were doing, I guess, we were doing last class. I think we were in the listening section. We wanted to do something like regarding listening, and then we were seeing like the speaking section. That's something very important to have. So let's try to see. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll do one listening section, and I'll show you my notes. Okay, I'll show you my notes, like so that you can. Let's probably do this one. Okay, so okay, so let's try this. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Okay, so so we're actually trying to. Okay, so we're actually trying to make like this. So please, your camera's on, and thank you very much. So we're trying to. We're trying to. We're gonna do the listening section, and then we'll do the speaking section. That is possible. That's great. So here we have. This is the top of the official test, and we'll do the listening section because we're seeing how to take notes, right? So we're gonna do the listening section. We're gonna do only one of these sections, okay? And I'll show you how I take the notes because I told you, right? I told you that it was very, 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 very. We have a technique for taking notes, and that's actually very important. We have a technique. We have a technique for taking notes, and we're gonna use that technique right now so that we can take notes and we can show you like how notes are taken, you know? So let's, okay, hold on, please. I'll try to find. Okay, we're gonna do these notes. Um, okay, so we're gonna do notes and okay. So I'm sharing my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so let's see my screen. Okay, so where is my screen? Where is the screen? Okay, I'll show you the notes that we have here. What happened here? Okay, so it's very, very hard to share my screen. I don't know why it's so hard. Like, I don't know why it's so hard to do this screen sharing. You know, it's like very hard. I don't know why it's so hard to do this screen sharing. I thought it was gonna be easier, you know. So, I guess, okay. So, you know, we're gonna go to the speaking section because this is a very hard to do. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, it doesn't open up. I'm very, very, where, where is this? Okay. So we're gonna do. I think we're gonna do the speaking section because it's quite impossible to really try to do this. It's quite impossible. Oh, here it is. Okay, here we have it. Okay, let's try it. Um, okay, so let's try it. Let's try to have this working. There it is. Okay, so this is so hard. Why is it so hard? Okay, I wanted to share my screen, like my iPad screen, but it's quite difficult to do that. I'm sorry for that. Therefore, we're gonna go to the speaking section, as we said. And let's see the speaking section. We're going to see all the scripts that we have. Okay, so first of all, we have number one. Okay, number one, and we were actually seeing that last class. So number one, we're gonna have like we have these. It says number one, and we're gonna go to this speaking section because of the fact that something's wrong with this program. But in the speaking section, let's see, let's see number one. You know, I would please ask you to share your screen, Martina. And okay, okay. So number one.
Number 1. In this question, you will be asked to talk about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to prepare a response and 45 seconds to record the response.
And we'll see, like, this is like the question.
Talk about an interesting book you have read. Explain why you thought the book was interesting.
Share your response after the beep.
Okay, so let's prepare these all together. You know, it's like we have this so-called script. And in this script, we're going to have, like, talk about an interesting book you've read. So please, Laura, can you talk about one interesting book you've read?
Teacher?
Yeah, can you talk about one interesting book you've read?
Yes, I read a book that was so important for me, Imperfect Love by Edmundo Pasoldan, who is a Bolivian writer. This book.
Okay, so wait a second. So the book is Perfect Love by Edmundo Pasoldan.
Imperfect Love, yes.
Okay, the Perfect Love. Okay, so tell me why you have like you like. Give me 2 reasons you like the book.
Because it's a book that we can see a lot of morals in each story.
A lot of what?
A lot of morals. I don't know how do you say moraleja?
Okay, a lot of lessons. I guess you know,
Yes.
like a lot of lessons.
A lot of yes in each story that we yes.
What else?
Because this book show a dark side of love, the bad part. I don't know.
Like a different angle, a different and now not so positive angle of love. Okay, so with that being said, so we have 2 reasons, right? We've said these 2 reasons. The first one is that you can learn a lot of lessons, and the second one is that it shows a different, like a not so positive angle of love. So let's talk about the first reason. Like a lot of lessons can be learned there. So please tell me, like you said first, and we'll rephrase this. We'll say like first, I learned, or hold on here. I grasped a lot of lessons from the book. Okay, so we rephrase the first thing, right? right? So we're saying basically the same, but with different words, of course, right? So let's put it like green so that we can see that it's the same thing here. And okay, for like why you learn a lot of lessons? Why?
Because every story are different.
Pardon me?
Every story or each story is different.
Every story is different. Okay. As a matter of fact, that's great. So as a matter of fact, like what can you tell, like, what can be told about these things, you know?
As a matter of fact, there are tragical finals.
Okay. There, it has a tragical ending, something like that. Or do you mean like it has a tragical story?
Yes, not is the classical story of love.
Okay. As a matter of fact, can you repeat that?
Not is the classical story of love.
It is not the classical story of love.
Yes.
It is not. So please, Valentina, hear your speech. It is not the classical story of love. Okay, so also we're gonna talk about this one that is the book shows a different not so positive side of love, something like that. We'll say like, can you rephrase that, please, Laura? Can you please say something like similar, but with different words?
Um,
Can you please rephrase this?
the book shows the bad side of the humans, of the people.
Okay, the book shows a bad, like a negative side of people, or the negative side of people, something like that. Okay, why does it show a negative side of people? Can you please say that? Why do you think it shows?
Because the people became egoists, betrayal.
Are always betraying themselves, right?
Yes.
To illustrate, can you please give me an example?
An example, my favorite story is about Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet?
Yes.
Okay. And what about that? That's
It's
like
about,
betray.
it's about two teenagers, and the girl make make him cut the veins to Romeo.
So there is a story about Romeo and Juliet, and what happened with them? I don't know this one.
Juliet make that Romeo cut his veins.
Okay. So Juliet, in fact, makes Romeo cut his veins. Okay. That's excellent. So let's like you've said everything, you know. So that's something very important. And we're gonna have this, and here you have. So that's the thing, you know. So let's please try to say this like in the let's try to say this in 45 seconds, you know. Let's try to say this in 45 seconds. Okay, so we're gonna start in, please, Laura, be ready.
Okay.
In, like 3, 2, 1, and go.
The Imperfect Love by Edmundo Pasoldan. Since we can see a lot lesson can be learning, and the book show a different and not so positive angle of love. First, I read a lot of lesson from the book, for every story is different. As a matter of fact, it is not a classical story of love. Also, the book shows the negative side of people, as people in the book are always betraying themselves. To illustrate, there is a story about Romeo and Juliet. Juliet, in fact, makes Romeo cut his vein.
Okay, so let's try, please, Laura, these are some ideas, you know. So I think the first part is like perfect till 34 seconds. So this part, of course, you need to say something more, you know. You could say, like, first, I grabbed a lot of lessons from these books that I like a lot. 4, every story is different. As a matter of fact, it is not the classical story of love, since it shows many things that are not so common. You know, like you could say like many more things until 17. Okay, and then when you're like finishing, you'll say something until it's 0. You know. So let's try again. Okay, so we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go.
The Imperfect Love by Edmundo Pasoldan. It was an important book for me. Since we can see a lot lesson, can we learn? And the books show different and not so positive angle of love. First, I read a lot of lesson from the book. For every story is different in all the book. As a matter of fact, it is not the classical love story that we know. Also, the book shows the negative side of people. As the people in the book are always betraying themselves. Sometimes they are egoists. To illustrate, there is a story.
Okay, that's
about,
fine. That's fine.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Okay, so I think, okay, like that's the structure, you know, that's the structure. Okay, so with that being said, everybody saw her answer. I don't think it's very difficult. So please, I'll ask everybody to prepare one response. We're gonna talk in front of everybody, of course, about this question. You know, talk about talk about an interesting book you've read. Explain why you thought the book was interesting. Give specific details and examples to explain your answer. Okay, so please let's work in here. Of course, you're gonna have this one is gonna be the structure, you know. So you must. Okay, so I'll say like very strongly. You must use things. You must be in 34. It's not like I would hope. You know, I really hope, like I really believe that you are able to do it. You must say first, not firstly. In this case, you know, we're practicing. That's the reason. Like in the test, you could say something very different. But in this class, I want you to learn at least one of the scripts that we have, so that you have and you feel sure in your exam. Okay, so that's the reason. It's not because I want you to say that word specifically. For the purpose of this practice, you must use the word first. You must use the word for. You must say, as a matter of fact, also, as, and to illustrate. And you must be in 34 when you're like just about to say first, and in 17 just about to say like also. So I'll show like how it should have been done. Like, I don't know. Can you please, Laura, give me the name of a book? Another one?
Another one, book.
Mm-hmm. One name, and like you could hate the book. It doesn't matter.
Ser como el río que fluye. I don't know in English.
Okay. An interesting book that I've read is Flowing with the River, since you can learn many lessons from there. And also, my best friend read it as well. First, you can learn many lessons from the book, for it has very spiritual and at times Buddhist facts and lessons there. As a matter of fact, I read in an article that that book actually improves your mental health quality by 3 points. Also, my best friend read the book as he was a very big fan, and he actually persuaded me to do so. To illustrate, once we were talking about books, and he told me that he had read that book. We were so thrilled that we've had the same knowledge in our brains, and we were able to share that. Okay, so that's 45. You see that I didn't even know the book, you know. I, of course, made everything up. And that's the point, you know. Nobody's going to say, like, oh, that book exists or it doesn't exist. Okay, so let's please prepare this. We're going to have like until 2034, yes, or 2033, like 4 minutes to prepare the answer, please. And we're gonna we're gonna start. Okay, so we're gonna start with Grace. Okay, so let's try it. Let's start with Grace.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, so we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go.
I've read an interesting book called The Only Pirate at the Party. It explains the life of an violinist and dancer called Lindsay Starling. Since the book shows how she, from an ordinary life, becomes successful and how she overcomes her problems. First, it shows that her family was poor, but besides that, they could make her learn violin, and for she, since was a little girl, wanted as a mother. Teacher, time's out. Time's up.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Grace. So the thing is, like, I think the best like let's say the best approach is to, like, if you make like the two reasons before 34, meaning like in 9 seconds, sorry, in 11 seconds, you're gonna have a great time. So the most common mistake that I've seen is that people actually take a lot of time to give the reasons. If you see it's like only like one sentence in each part, one sentence is this and this, like not more than that. And to be honest, I think that's something very, very important. So let's go with Valentina, please. Are you ready?
Oh, teacher, I'm writing. I'm still writing.
You're right. Okay, so let's go with Vania. Okay, Vania, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Okay, I read a book called Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Since Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel written by a woman in the past century. First, it shows you how was the life in the past century. For it, it's a really nice story of true love. As a matter of fact, it reveals how pride can wreck your life. Also, the book was popular in the past century. As it described manners, education, marriage, and money in the past century, and how was all these things in Great Britain. It was a wonderful book for me.
Okay, so thank you, Vania. So that was almost perfect. You forgot like the to illustrate at the end, but we're gonna improve that. But I think it was almost perfect. If you listen to her timing, it was almost perfect. I think she's the person with. I think nobody like made it the first time I remember, but that's great. You did a fantastic job. That's something very good. So let's go with Ron. So
I was practicing, teacher.
oh, that's great. That is like, of course, it's something that everybody can see because that's it. You need to practice. Like you've seen me like do the answers, and that's because of the fact that I practiced before, and right now like I teach this. That's why like you master this timing thing. Like you really get accustomed to saying very little things and not getting nervous, and that's very important. So that's great. Okay, that's great. You would get a 4, I guess, in that question, 4 out of 4. I think so. I don't have any doubt about it because it was great. Okay, so let's go with Ron. We're
Okay.
gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Okay. The Little Prince by Antoinette de Saint it looks like a child book, but it's not what it seems, since we can see a lot of lessons that can be learned. The book shows different stories and each one with a specific moral lesson. First, I grasped a lot of good wisdom from the book, for every single detail in the story is there in order to teach us good lessons. As a matter of fact, is not a child book. Also, the book was the favorite from my best friend, as this book helped us to really make a strength friendship for us.
Okay, thank you, Ron. That's great. I think you would also get a 4 out of 4 because you finished, even though like in our terms you didn't do like the last part like to illustrate, but in the real TOEFL, of course, they don't have like that requirement. But I think that you would get a 4 out of 4 also. Like it's not like very difficult to get a 4 out of 4 to be honest, in this one. Because I told you, right? We've talked about the raw score. Remember that, right? In the reading, right? It was like 1 point for each question that we have, unless it's a category question, it's worth 3, or I think it was a summary question. It's worth 2. It's worth 2 points. We add everything up, and then we do the like we convert this raw score into a scaled score. Remember that, right? So that's the way we do it, like the raw score, the scaled score. That's something very important. In this case, let me show you how it's done. I don't think I have it, but I'll develop it like right away. It doesn't have it. So we have a question like this is the speaking section, right? Speaking section. And we have a question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, we have until 4. That's everything we have. And each question is worth like raw score. You'll have from 0 to 4 in each of these questions. And in that sense, your final score, your final raw score is gonna be from 0 to 16. Like total. That will be your raw score. And in terms of the scaled score, of course, you're gonna have like this is called scale score. So I think you're gonna have something like this. So you're gonna have from here something around like from 0 to 30 points. Okay, so if you, for instance, have 14 out of 16, you'll have approximately like probably let's say you're probably gonna have a 26, like if you have a 14 out of 16, something along those lines. So it could be more, it could be like a little less. Remember, it depends on how well the rest of the people have done the test, like this is an example. And in that case, okay, so this is an example, of course. It could be more, it could be less, like let's say it's like, I don't know, it could be like, it could be something like that, 26 or 25 or 28. Okay, so let's see like the rubrics we have. Let me show you the rubrics. And let's see the rubrics. That's something very important. Nobody understands what's the meaning of rubrics, probably. So the rubrics are like, let me show you the rubrics. So here are the rubrics. This is very official from the web page. Here are the rubrics. So you'll have, as we said, like this is the independent question, okay? So, and we have also like 3 integrated questions also, like you'll have from 0 to 4. For instance, let's talk about Ron and Vanya's answer. So their response fulfill the demands of the task with at most minor lapses in completeness. It was highly intelligible, and exhibits sustained coherence. Discourse, a response at this level is characterized by all of the following. First of all, generally well-paced flow, fluid expression. So Vanya and Ron had this well-paced flow, okay? They had. Speech is clear. It was clear. For me, it was clear. It may include minor lapses or minor difficulties with pronunciation or intonation patterns. So you don't have to be perfect, by the way. Like you could have a 4 out of 4 without like being like everything perfect. It doesn't matter. You could have some minor difficulties with pronunciation or intonation pattern, doesn't matter, which do not affect overall intelligibility. Okay, so so that's the way, like language use. The response demonstrate an effective use of grammar and vocabulary. Did Bunny and Ron use grammar and vocabulary very well? I think so because they use all the expressions, right? They use for, they use as, they use since. That makes a difference, to be honest. Had they not have this like script, they would probably in these languages they would probably get a 3 because that's something like a fair use of grammar. But if you're using the script, you're getting automatically a 4 because we've said that those are like the most important connectors that we're gonna use. And topic developed. The response is sustained and sufficient to the task. It is generally well developed and coherent relationships between ideas are clear. And that's why we have the script, right? Because the relationship between the ideas are clear, because that's why we say first, secondly, first and also, and we've said that before. And that's very important. You're not like going around with your response, I don't know, this and that, and then the time's up. No, you have the structure right there. So they would get a 4, definitely, a 4 out of 4. And you see that you only get a 0. That's very interesting. Like if you don't make any attempt to respond, that's very weird. Like if you're like, you have the time and nobody says anything, like you just stay like there. That's why I tell you always, like if you make a mistake, you should continue speaking because you'll probably get a 0 if you don't speak nothing at all. Or your response is unrelated to the topic. Like they ask you about like books and you answer about, I don't know, cars or something like that. That would be a 0. Okay, otherwise you'll be like from 1, 2, or 3 or 4. Okay, so it's not very difficult, to be honest, to get a 4. It's not very difficult. You don't have to be a native speaker. We've said that. Let's continue. Okay, so let's go with
teacher. This 26 it will equal to 90 over 120.
Yeah, I guess that it would equal to 90. If you have like 26. Okay, so it would equal like 104 if you have 26 in each section, right? So each section is like you have like this 30, like it's like 26 for 30, it's like that's the way. So you could have like a 28. The first time I took the test, I got a 28. Okay, the first time, the one that I got 112. I got 28 in everything. And the reason being, I think I had at that point, I think it was a 4, 4, 4, 3, and 3, something like that. That was a 28. Or it was something like that. But you had like at that time 6 questions. Right now you have 4. The second time I got 30, But it was because it was less questions, I guess. And I think I was lucky because of the fact that the questions were sort of easy. Okay, so with that being said, and it's a very well, like 26 is not bad at all. I told you about this girl, Elvie. I showed you, she got 28 in the speaking because of the fact that she used the script. That's everything she did well. Okay, let's go with Valentina, please. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Hamlet, Shakespeare. Since I read this book, I was able to know how a theater play could be wrote. First, I've memorized the story for my plan was to be able to write a play. As a matter of fact, it was one of the books that inspired me to start to write. Also, the book shows how Hamlet contemplates life and death and seeks revenge. That's it. We,
Okay, that's time. So, okay, so if you have like time left, I told you like you should try. I think you have a great level of English, Valentina. So you should try to like fill that time with some examples, something like that. I think you're able to do that. Okay, let's go with Martina. So please, Martina, let's start in three, two, one, and go. Okay, I think Martina is not there, right? Okay, so okay, I don't know what happened there, but that's why I always ask you to like turn your cameras on. You know, that's something very important. But I really trust Ron because he didn't have a camera, but he's always like, I think he's the best of the class or something. So let's go with Grace. Okay, let's go with Grace. We're gonna do it all over again. We're gonna do it all over again. So we're gonna start in like we're gonna start in.
Teacher,
Yeah,
please, may I see the no, the template?
yeah. Of course, there it is. You know, here it is the script. So it
Yes.
seems okay. I need to share with you the script. Okay, let me. I'll share with you the script with you. Like I don't know, like after the class, I'll share all the words. Okay. So it's like since, then first, then for, then as a matter of fact, then also, then as, then to illustrate. Okay, so please, Grace, my advice to you. I think that we have great responses from Bruno and Vanya. I'm very proud. So, and I think everybody else will do it very well. And please, Grace, try, please try to finish like the first two reasons until 34. Okay, like let's try to do that. Okay, very, very rapidly. Let's begin in three, two, one, and go.
An interested book is The Only Pirate at the Party, which talks about Lindsay Starling. She is a violinist and dancer, since the book shows her life and how she overcomes her problem. First, she shows that she has an ordinary life and she becomes successful. For sorry, as a matter of fact, she overcomes. No, I am sorry, teacher. I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay, that's it. That's fine. So as I said, like it's not like to be mean, but I want you to feel the way like the top is gonna be there. You know, like before I would say, but I really want you to learn. Like if you have, I don't remember who was here. Probably made a big mistake. And that person like quickly like get up and that's something like. Did I tell you like the time I took the cell phone? I didn't sleep. Did I tell you that story? Did I? I don't think so, right? That I couldn't sleep like the night before. Did I tell you that? I don't know. I was so nervous that I couldn't sleep the night before. Can you believe that? I was very, very upset. Did I tell you that? I think so, right? Or no, I didn't tell you. So I was going to take the cell phone. I was very prepared. Remember? I know. I didn't tell you. I think it was another group. And I didn't sleep. Can you believe that? I didn't sleep at all, you know, anything. I was very upset with myself because I wasn't able to sleep. Never before had I had that problem. You know, I've never had that problem. Like I always would sleep like on time and then wake up. But I think I was very, very nervous because of the fact that I was gonna take the cell phone and there's a lot of pressure because it costs like $180 and you know, those things, you know. And I woke up. I didn't like wake up because I didn't sleep. I went to the facility even though I was very tired, and I did my best. You know, like I was at one point saying like to myself, like I should quit this test, before I even take it. I said it's impossible that I take the test because I'm very upset with myself. I couldn't sleep. And then I started doing this visualizing things, visualizing things like, The Power of the Secret. I don't know if you've read that book. And I think that was very, very important. As it's very, very like, I got 120, I didn't even sleep. That's very important. Never give up, in those situations. Like you could be very, very in a very, very like bad shape. Okay, so let's go with Laura. Okay, that's something we're gonna try. Okay, so
Okay.
let's start in 3, 2, 1, and go.
The important book for me, it was Be Like a Flowing River. Since I read this book because it's based on a true stories, and the book has a lot of stories of personal improvement. First, when I read this book, I can see that each story it happened in the real life. For every story, a real story. As a matter of fact, this book was recommended by my sister. Also, the book helped us to be a better person. As a story, it's about a good and bad experience of people who decided to count to illustrate the best part of the story for me.
Okay, that's okay. So like it's like we need to practice the time. So we're gonna go with Vania. Sorry, with Valentina, and then we're gonna go with Vania, and then Ron. Okay, so let's start Valentina in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Hamlet by Shakespeare. Since I read this book, I was able to know how a theater play could be wrote. First, I've learned I memorized the story for my plan was to be able to write a play. As a matter of fact, it was one of the books that inspired me to start to write. Also, the book shows how Hamlet contemplates life and death and seeks the revenge as a goal in his life. To illustrate, he was planning the revenge every single day of his life. And his uncle was worried about her mental health.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think it was almost perfect. Like you missed like to illustrate, I guess. I think because of the fact that it's here, like that's why I think everybody missed that one. Okay, so I think it was almost perfect, like let's go. Thank you. So let's go with Vania. Okay, so let's go with Vania. And
Teacher, I wanted to ask you if this template will serve as well with the integrated speaking. That is that we need to read and then we listen for a listening.
I have different scripts.
Okay.
I have different scripts. Believe me, that's what I like. I think this is like I told you, the best part of the course is speaking, because this is like the thing you're going to improve a lot. This script actually is like for number 1. We have a very different one for number 2. We have a very different one for number 3, and those are very proven to be very, very important. Because I told you, right? So we have a very different script for each one. That's why we learn first number 1, then we'll learn number 2. That's like it's like the best part of the course speaking section. And each question is very different, Okay, so we're gonna start with Vania in 3, 2, 1, and go.
The book that I read it was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Since Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel written by a woman in the past century. First, it shows you how it was the life in the past century, for it's a really nice story of true love. As a matter of fact, it reveals how pride can wreck your life. Also, the book was popular in the past century, as it describes manners, education, marriage, and money in the past century in Great Britain. To illustrate this book was one of my favorite books in the life, and this is something common that we have with my sister.
Okay, thank you. So that was a perfect. Thank you very much, buddy. Okay, thank you. So let's go with Ron. We're gonna start in three, two, one, and go.
Okay, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint. It looks like a child book, but it's not what it seems. Since we can see a lot of lessons that can be learned, the book shows different stories and each one with a specific moral lesson. First, I grasped a lot of good wisdom from the book for every single detail on the story. It's there in order to teach us good lessons. As a matter of fact, it is not a child book. Also, the book was the favorite from my best friend, as this book helped us to make a really strong friendship between us.
Okay, thank you. So we missed like the last one, but I think it was also fine as we said. Okay, so that's it for today. So we have, as we said, number one, and then we'll see number two. Number two is gonna be like, let me give you let me give you a heads up in number two. So it's gonna be about a university change, and we're gonna use this. This is very interesting as well. We're gonna use accordingly, advocate, and it's gonna be very interesting to be honest. Like number two, it's always a change from the school. Something happened in the school, and there are always two reasons why the person agrees or does not agree, and there are also two reasons why the change happened. You know, that's always like that. Believe me, number two is like very important. So with that being said, thank you very much. The channel, I send you the channel, the new one with the videos until I fix the other one. Thank you very